lot of new tools and good merchandise. I like when we make good buys. I enjoy that, knowing that most of the stuff we bought, we either going to make a profit off, sell it here, or sell it back in South Carolina.
What I like about the trip, it was a good learning experience. I got a good personal relationship with most of the guys. A lot of one-on-one time to get a good feel of who they are, what's going on with the company, and how we do this. And seeing the loadout firsthand was really eye-opening.
I think the thing I liked the most was the group of people we had. Although inexperienced a little bit in some areas, had pretty strong skill sets.
Well, first of all, I loved coming down here to Texas, being set up the way we were. I felt completely taken care of this entire trip by the company. I thought that was really great. Didn't have to worry about anything. I felt like all together we had a great group of guys. We had a great chemistry in the guys. And I felt like we were able to work together pretty well to get things accomplished, to get things done.
Short notice, sort of the problems with getting the trucks loaded because other people having to operate equipment. Usually when we operate equipment, everything goes a lot smoother and quicker.
I think in the future, laying out like a chain of command, who's in charge of the whole thing. Then if we split up yards like this, who's in charge of each yard, so that there's a hierarchy, so people aren't going off doing their own thing.
The fact that TIC had more control than what I'm used to. We weren't able to operate any lifts, and it was all kind of by the beat of their own drum. TIC controlled basically the time frame and basically was going to dictate how long we're here.
The only dislikes I would have would come in regards to times where we didn't communicate as well. I felt like there were several groups of thought going on at the same time. We had the salesmen that were talking to interested buyers. We had people that were loading, and we had people who were trying to make sales, and there's people trying to. I felt like there were several groups that weren't quite connecting the way they should to make it flow as smoothly as it could have flowed.
Things we did right, it seems like kind of combining this with other ones with what we can improve. I think if we knew when we were going to bid on this equipment, if we had videos of each container or each product, so we could do an inventory so that we knew what we had, so that we could pre-sell before we ever showed up, so that instead of us just throwing everything in the middle of a container, that we can either put it in bins or on pallets or something where we can organize so it's easier to get it off, so it's not just in a big pile for the future. So just organizing, because when I had the guy from JVI, he wanted to look at some of the porta powers. Well, they were all mixed up in a trailer and they were buried up front and things like that. So if they were at least more organized, and we knew, hey, I've got 10 of these and 5 of these, we already knew what we had, as opposed to trying to just dig stuff out of a trailer and find pieces. So organization, I think, is one. The next loadout, if I were in charge of the loadout, I think what I would do is have 1 or 2 guys who knew what the product was and knew what was going on, and I would get about 10 to 20 temp laborers and have them go through and just do the grunt work, where the other people could focus on what product is in there, keeping a better inventory or track of what we have and what's going on. So if we are selling so much of the lot to different customers, they can supervise that being on pallets or in a special area, and it wouldn't be so scattered. It seemed like there was a lot of miscommunication with the JVI sale, the rigging sale and things, who's going on, what's going on, how's it going on. The other thing I think I'd like to try and do differently, if possible, but not always, definitely have our own equipment. The Houston yard, JR and I were able to move and do whatever we wanted, whenever we wanted. We were very organized. We got it done quickly. In the TIC yard, unfortunately, we had to do a lot of waiting on their people, their brakes, their systems. So when we needed to do things, we had to wait on them. And there's a little bit of friction with what's going on, especially, we're selling to their competitor, so they're not very happy about that. And we're trying to get things done that way. So it's, it'd be nice if we could do it all ourselves and not involve them. I know we can't always do that. So that's kind of what I thought about the loadout and my opinions.
I feel like we improve just about every time we do these jobs. I think there's always going to be stuff we can learn, stuff we can get better at. To pinpoint one in particular thing, I think it would be number one, probably ridiculous for me to make that type of statement. And number two, I don't really think it's truthfully needed, because we always get better every single time at certain things. We're a lot more efficient. We have better ideas of what we're going to do when we get to these job sites now than when I first started doing it even then, and that's 20-something years into it for Rob, for General Equipment.
I like that it seems like we had interested buyers ready to purchase things while we had them here in the area, like directly from the yard at TCI or TIC. We had people that were able to just send it out. That way we can reduce costs, reduce labor from getting things out of the yard. I think there was an effort made, and it helped us save some time altogether. What are some ways we can improve? I think, especially when we go into a specific area like the Lake Jackson or the Freeport area, and we make a purchase, having a list of all potential buyers in the area, and then once we come in, we know what we have, we know what we made a purchase on, and then immediately send out a list of what we have, or a video of what we have, or pictures of what we have to these interested buyers. And I think we should, once we get here, we should, if something's, messy at the yard we're picking it up at, we should lay everything out, whether it's in a container, neat and orderly already. We shouldn't pack anything until we have pictures, video, listings of everything we have, and send lots. So we have a lot of tuggers, we have a lot of air drills, we have a lot of a certain type of equipment. We send pictures, images, videos of those lots to interested buyers. We have them come and look at those lots, or we have them just look at the picture, and we order those before we ever ship it out to Houston or to Simpsonville, and we get those sold while they're there. Then we order everything. We have everything in order. We don't just shove it in containers. We have everything in order. We send it to where it's supposed to go, and from there it can be ordered onto either the Houston yard or the Simpsonville yard.
Haul the load to Houston every day, and got a lot of material moved around in Houston to accommodate, and a lot of scrap picked up, cleaned up, and organized to move all this material there.
Personally, I was originally hired. I was hired to come down here and do some marketing for it. So I was expecting to do video and photos. Wasn't quite expecting to do as much as I did, but I ended up being. I was very happy with what I was able to do. I was pretty much supervised the TCI, or the first TCI yard or TIC yard, getting all the for a short time with all the trucks loaded and getting everything packed away for the last couple days of last week, getting everything shipped up to Houston, which was pretty exciting. I feel like I learned a lot.
I don't think of things that way I'm not done, so that would be a question I'd need to be asked at the end of the week, or at the end of the job.